My Steam library is full of games, way more games than I actually talk about in my videos. But every now and then, a special type of game comes along. The type of game that I get chronically addicted to. In fact, I get so addicted to it that if I don't make a video about it, then the game will single-handedly end my entire YouTube career. Like, I just stop making videos because all I want to do is just play this one game. And recently, one of these games came along, and I need to tell you about it. Let me introduce you to a game called Dark and Darker, a dungeon crawling extraction game that is heavily influenced by Dungeons and Dragons. This game's like crack, and I'm gonna be honest, I just can't stop smoking this shit. Let me give you the simple rundown of Dark and Darker. You load into one of 3 dungeons and you explore, opening chests and killing mobs to get loot. You also find other players who you can, brutally murder and steal all their stuff. Once you've filled your inventory with delicious loot, you then extract, leaving the map and taking all of your precious gear with you. And dying makes you lose all of the gear that you had in your inventory at the time you died. But if you do escape, you can sell that gear on the open marketplace where other players can buy it from you. You then use the money you made to buy more gear for yourself, and then you go back into the dungeon and you do it all over again. This is what you'd call an extraction game, a relatively new genre that was massively popularized by Escape from Tarkov. Except instead of military guys with guns, it's like, wizards and goblins and stuff. And I think the reason why I'm so captured by this game is because it has this miraculous ability to make dying and losing my gear feel addictive. Like, it doesn't feel good to die, but when I do die, I don't just want to put the game down and let it slide. I just lost all my items. I just lost money, so I want to go back in and get that money back. This game has me hooked in a way that I haven't been hooked by a game in a very long time. And this game has quite literally everything that I like about a game. It has a bunch of playable classes with a bunch of build variety. It has cool movement tech. It has real-time melee combat, similar to games like Htwo and Chivalry. So swinging your melee weapon at enemies requires super precise aim, and you need to swing around people's block and that kind of stuff. It also has true darkness, meaning that turning up your brightness doesn't affect how dark the unlit parts of the maps are. If you've ever played Echoes of the Eye, it's exactly like that. It also has projectile weapons.
Am I spotting from range, Kurt?
Okay. Everyone loves projectile weapons, right? The game also rewards your knowledge of the maps and what the enemies do, and which items are worth money and which aren't. This game is absolutely fantastic, and you can play it for free on Steam. But before you rush out and go and try it, let me sell you on the game even harder. There's 10 playable classes in Dark and Darker, and these 2 are clearly the coolest. They're also amongst the most overpowered, but we don't talk about that part. Let's start with Barbarian. Barbarian is the tankiest class in the game. You also hit like an absolute truck, easily being able to 2-shot or even sometimes 1-shot people with your 2-handed weapons. But the Barbarian has almost no ranged options in combat. Every other class in the game has some sort of tool to poke you from far away. But Barbarian's only ranged options are these little throwing axes that you can chuck around. So Barbarian needs to chase his opponent and close the distance before he can start doing the insane damage that he's capable of up close. Ideally, you get as close as possible before the enemy notices you, so you can, cave their head in before they even realize you were there. But when that fails, you just need to run your opponent down like a freak. Unfortunately, you have abilities that help you do this. Rage gives you a bunch of health, damage, and move speed for 6 seconds, helping you chase people. There's also a perk called Crush that allows you to break doors, so even if someone slams a door in your face, you can just keep chasing them anyway. And Achilles Strike makes your next successful attack slow your opponent and deal extra damage to them while they move. So once you've caught up to that person, Achilles Strike makes it unlikely that they're able to get away. The thing that makes Barbarian so satisfying to me is just the weapons. The game has real-time melee swings, and all of Barbarian's 2-handed weapons are these huge lumbering pieces of metal that have these super deliberate swing patterns. So once you get on top of someone, aiming your massive Zweihander for their head is incredibly fun. And when you find another melee class who picks a fight with you, spacing out their swings and landing your own is incredibly satisfying. And swinging around people's block is a really fun skill to learn. The melee mechanics in this game are super fun, so unsurprisingly, the hyper-aggressive melee-only class that swings these big-ass weapons around is really fun to play. And my favorite build for this class is what I like to call the gear-eating barbarian. You buy a legendary 2-handed weapon. And that's it. You don't bring any other weapons, you don't bring any other gear, you go into 124 gear score lobbies with a legendary Zweihander and nothing else. And then you hit people in the head with it, and it's really, really funny. You see, Dark and Darker lobbies are separated into gear score brackets. You know, so people with 2,000 hours and expensive gear aren't loading into games with brand new players and just stat checking them. So your gear is worth a certain amount of gear score points, and you have to be within the gear score bracket to be able to join the lobby. For example, a legendary Zweihander is 120 gear score. So the gimmick is simple. A legendary Zweihander only costs like 300 to 400 gold, but I can kill players with it who are wearing upwards of 1,000 gold worth of items. So I go in, I kill some guys, I eat all of their gear, and then I leave. Having no gear except a legendary weapon might sound insanely stupid. And that's because it is insanely stupid. But Barbarian has some perks and skills that makes this concept work. He has abilities like Rage and Warcry that give him a ton of health, strength, and move speed. Things that you're lacking because you aren't wearing any gear. He has a perk called Savage that makes you deal 10% more damage while not wearing any chest armor. And like, I didn't plan on wearing chest armor anyway, so that's fine by me. And then there's also the Lizard Man race. The Lizard Man has 20 extra armor rating and 10% headshot damage reduction, but in exchange for that, you're unable to wear a helmet. But I didn't plan on wearing a helmet anyway, so that's fine by me. Now, is this build a good idea? No, it's not. It's really, really stupid. A purple Zweihander is like almost as good as a legendary one, but it's way less gear score, and it also lets you run other stuff, like blue boots and a blue neck piece. This build is a whole lot more sensible, but the issue with it is it's just really not as funny, is it? Now, the other class I like to play is Druid, and Druid has the power to shapeshift. He can turn into a rat, a panther, a bear, and a chicken. Druid in human form is a very slow class, but with his transformations, he can be fast. He can be very fast. Each transformation has unique abilities. The rat is incredibly fast, but you only have a tiny amount of HP, meaning you die in one hit to practically anything. The chicken can triple jump mid-air, but is also very low HP. The panther has fast walk speed and has a leap ability that travels a short distance. He also attacks very fast and stacks a bleed on enemies. But the panther has less HP than a human and has massive hitboxes, meaning you're incredibly easy to hit. And the bear is huge, has tons of health and hits very hard, but has incredibly slow move speed. In isolation, all of these transformations have weaknesses, but when you combine them together, you can do some insane things. You can jump off the ground, then transform into a chicken and jump 2 extra times for more height. The rat can squeeze through gaps that other classes can't fit through, and a lot of doors have holes in them, so you can jump and turn into a rat at the right time to fly through these door holes quickly. And then there's this. The panther has a leap ability. If you use this ability in the air, then turn into a chicken and triple jump, you keep all of the momentum from the leap throughout the entire jump. Druid has so many movement options that it's bordering on overpowered. If you play well enough, you are impossible to catch and impossible to run away from. You can also use the chicken form to hide in ridiculous spots that don't seem possible. Because of the game's true darkness system, you can hide in tiny patches of darkness that you shouldn't be able to fit a player inside of. So you can hide in a corner as an evil, nefarious chicken, then jump out at people and turn into a bear to give them the biggest jump scare of their entire lives. In fact, this was such a powerful strategy that they actually nerfed it in the most recent patch. Now, the chicken periodically makes noise even when you're standing still. So even if the enemy can't see you, they might be able to hear you. The only downside to Druid is that he doesn't really have much build variety. My favourite build for Druid is Bear Druid. This build is really fun, but it's also basically the only build. You use all of your other forms for movement, and then you get on top of someone and kill them as a bear. You can also build a ton of agility so that the panther does more damage, but it's not that much different from the bear build. Like, your game plan is still to just get on top of someone, turn into a big scary animal, and then hit them until they die. So as much as I do love Druid, there's not a lot of variety in the builds that you can bring to the game. So these are the two classes I enjoy the most. I do play some of the other classes too. Wizard is particularly cool, even if I'm like really bad at him. But the majority of my hours are spent playing these two classes, which honestly probably says a lot about me. You know, I'm sure the veteran Dark and Darker players are intensely judging me as we speak. But there's one other class that I do want to talk about. The newest class to Dark and Darker, and the class that is causing the most problems in the game right now. And that is the Sorcerer. Sorcerer is a really strange class, because Wizard is already a class. A spell-casting projectile character that has tons of damage from mid-range, but is incredibly weak when you get on top of him. But Sorcerer is just like the cooler wizard, basically. All of his spells do way more damage, literally being able to one-shot people off of headshots. But he's also able to equip the longsword, one of the best melee weapons in the game. And the longsword has a special parry and riposte mechanic. You can block hits with the longsword, and if someone hits your block and you attack immediately afterwards, your next attack does like double damage. So he has all of these insane ranged options to pepper you down with. But when you finally get on top of him, he can just longsword parry you and completely nuke you. And he also has spells that make him even stronger in melee range, like a huge lightning bubble surrounding him, or the ability to teleport a short distance, so he can actually just all-in you with the longsword and two-shot you. And the worst offender of all of the spells this class has is Lightning Bolt, a lightning laser beam that ticks 5 times in 5 seconds. It slows the target on hit, and it does unbelievable amounts of damage. And the spell also used to be bugged, so it would literally pass through walls to deal damage to you. In this clip, I'm playing Barbarian, and I have the perk Iron Will, and the lightning bolt still did this amount of damage to me. Through a wall. The reason it can do this much damage, by the way, is because there's a stat in Dark and Darker called True Magic Damage. So you can get +1 True Magic Damage on like every single item in your entire kit to be dealing like 10 True Magic Damage per tick of the Lightning Bolt. So it's around 40 to 50 extra damage on the spell for free, no questions asked. Oh, and did I mention it goes through walls? But it goes through walls, by the way. So Sorcerer ends up being an incredibly frustrating class to fight. Every class has their strengths and weaknesses, but Sorcerer feels like all strengths all the time. His only real weakness is his insanely slow move speed, but that doesn't really matter when he has all of these spells to spam you from afar, and the ability to teleport a short distance to get away. But despite all that, Dark and Darker is a fantastic game, and to end this video off, I'm just gonna leave you with all of the best clips I've gotten whilst playing this game over the last month or two, and I hope you enjoy.
Did he die? He just died.
No, he missed. Nice, run.
I'm tripping.
Bro, I'm so bad. That's my bad.
Nice! Bobby says, what is that, bro?
I got body blocks by the mummy, did you not see?
Bobby says, you were so sick, you were so raw for a minute.
Yeah, and then I got body blocks. Druid's pushing, he's in the trap.
Yeah.
So
He's in the. Oh, he's in both traps.
Nice.
Hitless Barbarian, any % world record.
I'm dropping a campfire.
That's
That's
Well, no, that bard is like just being opportunistic. He's just.
Oh, you.
Is that my fault?
Oh my god.
I'm summoning a treant on him.
Oh my god.
Right, it won't let me. There you go, Will. Look at that. Come out.
I'm dead.
What?
He's body blocked.
He's
Get him.
Ooh, but it might be good though. Oh my god, one with fist.
There's players in,
There's. But I'm getting cooked. I got the boss. But he might switch aggro. Jump! You're gonna prepare to jump.
I didn't have.
He got fucking 4K.
You said jump, but I jumped instead. I was.
Yeah,
No.
you jumped. That's exactly what I did.
New team.
I missed the explosion so bad. Oh,
Okay.
oh, what a cool class.
Yay!
That is so disgusting. It's insane.
We can long sword fight. Come, let's go. Let's one.
I'll let you do it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Fight's go. Oh! I feel like I'm in a YouTube video from 2010.
You're in a YouTube video? Same guys. Hello guys. Welcome all viewers. Subscribe. Press like, leave comments. Don't type bad words.
You're doing my job
Right.
for me, mate.
That's crazy.
I'm clipping
How about you
it.
pay me some? Pay me 1,000 dark and darker gold.
Sure, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Thanks for watching.